Hello everyone! My name is Lavender Axolotl, and welcome back to the village of Everfrost and to the series of Village Makeover. If you're not here in the last episode, we had built the leather worker and butcher combined building, where the butcher prepares all of the meat for the villagers, while the leather worker makes fashionable clothing with leather armor. We also viewed some of the new baby mobs, but I believe, yeah, they've all grown up by now. And of the baby mobs, we included one of the baby cats, which is this calico cat, who still doesn't have a name, but we will figure a name for them later. Now, before we look in the journal to see today's goal, as you can see, we only have one villager left in the house. And there was a lot more from the last episode. But that's because I already moved them. I did some things off camera, such as I connected this building here to the cartographer's house, which is essentially the library. So you can see there's a librarian in there. I'm going to go ahead and go into free camp since it is blocked, so it'll be easier to do it this way. But it is a very small library. It's just filled with books and chiseled bookshelves, and there's a library in there with their, let me try to, whoop, that's too far. Here we go. With their lectern to keep notes of books that are like returned or they currently have. And then this mini chiseled bookshelf mini block that I got from Wandering Trader, and then just a chest to store books that have been returned. But as you can see, the library is basically full since almost all the villagers don't really read. But this isn't the only librarian, because there is another librarian in here, which is the mending one, where I get my mending books from. And it has obtained all of its level up, because it took the lectern there when I moved them. I was a little worried if they were gonna lose, like they were gonna have to reapply to be a librarian again. But I didn't really need mending books anymore since I got them on my tool, so I wasn't too concerned about it. But yeah, so it was a pleasant surprise. And let me quickly go into free cam and I'll show you guys. I added 2 extra beds because that's where the 2 librarians, they share the house with the cartographer. So I'm going to close that for now. So basically, the librarian in this house, doing some lore here, is the main librarian who runs this little library here, but they do have an assistant who is learning from them. So these 2 plus the cartographer all know how to read like complex books, and they like reading complex books. Meanwhile, the other villagers are just not interested in that, or they're not interested in reading at all. So yeah, both these librarians provide books for the villagers, though most of the villagers don't really come in and take their books. And none of them really knows where they keep getting all these books. It is a small selection, but it's like really packed with like a lot of books if you're looking at it. And the villagers aren't quite sure how they got all these books, but they just don't question it. And another thing that I did off camera that I want to show you guys, and I didn't record it because it was very boring work. It was so boring, and it took me over 2 hours. And I don't think you guys wanted me to. Here, let me show you. So I brought some dirt down here where it was like a floating platform when I expanded the land to do the wall. So I finally filled it in with this dirt to make it somewhat natural. But yeah, it was very boring. It was very tedious since I had to keep coming up for air to breathe and then sleep during the night so mobs wouldn't get me. And it was a little scary because these squids make horrifying sounds and they kept surrounding me. So yeah, I didn't think you guys to wanted to see me place dirt, even if it was like a time lapse. It's just it's not exciting stuff. So, oh, I fell. Okay, I'm out. So yeah, that's mainly all the things that I did off camera. So let's go ahead and we'll go upstairs to my room to check the goal for today in our journal. And it is to build the cleric building, which is the last job villager. Before I take you to the build site, let's quickly sleep since it is becoming nighttime. So over here is the build site. I got some dirt and I built this out a little so I can make a path to it over here. Well, this is where the cleric building is going to be. I already did the base here. I had to clear some stuff out. It's going to be very small because once again we are quickly running out of room. And this is going to be the last the last building we add to the village. So I had another build in mind. I wanted to make like a marketplace, so like little market stalls where some of the villagers would come and will trade like amongst themselves. But there's just not enough room. There's just not enough room, and I can't really build it like at all. If we go across high above the village, there really isn't a good spot for a market. One could argue that we can do it up here with the happy gas, but I didn't want to build a market that's all the way up there that the villagers really had to travel up to get to it. So our last build is going to be the cleric building, and I kind of chose this spot to where it's kind of close to the happy gas because I figured, well, what a cleric is, it's a kind of like a leader figure in in a religion like group. So I figured the cleric would want to be close to the happy guest since I figured the villagers would praise the Nameless one as like their god slash savior, I guess. So yeah, so that's why it's built up here and kind of like it's shoved in the back behind the Fletcher and who's the other guy? Oh yeah, the Mason villager. So here you go, you guys can take a look at the materials that we will be using. So I'll give you all a few seconds to look what we're working with. Okay, that's enough rambling. Let's go ahead and start the time lapse. Hope you all enjoyed the time lapse. So here is the cleric building. Alright, I did the path going from here, wrap around all the way over here, and made these tiny little steps that enters into the building. And if you can hear, we can finally hear the happy gas because I finally turned friendly mobs back on since I just went ahead and moved the villager. Yeah, there he is right there. There's the cleric. I already moved him off camera. Yeah, so here is the cleric building. So it's kind of like, I kind of made it off of like a church since a cleric is like a religious leader. So we have like the seats that they come in, and this is where the cleric will stand and he'll speak to the other villagers attending. You know, it is very small. And back here, this is kind of like the donation thing, where villagers can go ahead and leave donations for the church. And also this is just a storage box. So if I bring you back here, this is actually where the cleric lives. So the building is like the church, and also combined with his residential house. I'm gonna have to steal his bed since I see it's getting nighttime. Sorry, sir. Okay, so yeah, so he also lives here, but it's also pretty small. He only has like his necessities, such as, you know, sink for water, give him a smoker, to cook food, you know, shelves with his bowl and glasses. But then over here is also the workstation. So this is the brewing stand. Since the clerics get the job from the brewing stands, I gotta assume that they know about potions. So the cleric is also like a potion maker. So they make a bunch of potions during their free time. I just went ahead and gave a mini enchanted table mini block. Since potions are kind of like a magical thing, so I feel like a mini enchanting table would fit that. And then over here, so here is a ladder that leads up to here with a trap door, and then another ladder here. So this is what the cleric uses to appease to the Nameless one. So he'll come up here, you know, go up the ladder from his room, and then up here, and then travel down to this small staircase here, and then this is a little offering for the Nameless one. So the cleric's job makes sure that the happy one, the Nameless one is happy, and gives it offerings, which is snowballs, since that's the happy guest favorite treat. So yeah, that's basically all there is to it. It's a very small church, a very small building, plus a very small like residential room. Oh, and I did already trade. These are the trades that we can do. So yeah, that's all there is. Very small, but I think it conveys what the building is well. So let's go ahead, and we're gonna leave the cleric in there, and I will meet you all back at my house. It feels weird coming in here and not seeing any villagers, but let's go ahead and let's go up here. Yeah, now we can hear all the kitty cats meowing and lilac barking. So let's check our goal journal to see if we completed our goal for today. Build the cleric building, which we have done. I don't think you can see it from here, but if we do the camera, yep, there we go, all the way back there, and that makes the final building for the village. With all that being said, this is all I have for you today. This is probably a shorter video, since not a whole lot was completed. Well, a lot was completed, but stuff that was completed, I did it off camera. Honestly, because I don't think it would have been that exciting to watch, even with time-lapsed. But we are finally in the home stretch with all of the buildings placed, and unfortunately we can't make the marketplace like I wanted to, but that's okay. So now we get to work on the finishing touches in the next episode. So if you enjoyed this video, consider leaving a like, and if you want to see more of this series and of me fumbling around in a block game, then you can consider subscribing to my channel to see more of me. And you can also leave a comment down below. I'm still looking for a name for the now grown calico kitten, so if you have any suggestions, I would greatly appreciate it. With all that being said, my name is Lavender Axolotl, and I'll see you all next time.